Here there is no permanent sanctuary. Danger always finds a way. The most vigilant can still falter. The weakest must still rise. Life is a relentless series of trials. And death is the ever-present price. The African sun bathes Tanzania's endless Serengeti grasslands in gold, painting a daytime tableau of almost deceptive serenity. On the open plain, in broad daylight, a phantom glides through the withered grass. The cheetah, the absolute embodiment of speed. Its target, a stray Thompson's gazelle. The snap of a dry twig ignites the chase. The gazelle explodes into a desperate sprint, reaching speeds of up to 60 miles per hour. The cheetah matches it, transforming the grassland into a grueling test of endurance. A precise strike to the throat. The gazelle falls. But the immense cost of such speed is exhaustion. The cheetah gasps for breath, its body overheating. Before it can take a single bite, dark shapes descend. Vultures swoop in, their noisy hissing inadvertently alerting a more formidable power. From the arid scrub, a lioness ambles into view. The arrival of the apex predator is an unappealable verdict. Aware of the mismatch, the cheetah helplessly retreats, abandoning its hard-won meal. Under the African heat, one animal's supreme effort so easily becomes another's gift. As the harsh, dry season begins, the symphony of life enters a new and challenging movement. Beneath a veil of hovering dust, a low-slung figure trudges into view. The warthog. They are the unwitting engineers of the savannah. Despite the oppressive heat radiating from the ground, they work tirelessly. They diligently excavate the parched earth. Their tools for survival are simple yet remarkably effective. Their sensitive snouts and curved tusks are the perfect instruments for locating roots. Deep beneath the rock-hard soil lie water-rich tubers. Clods of dry earth crumble under the force of their tusks. The small pits the warthogs create do more than just save them from thirst. In this miniature desert, these holes quickly become precious water sources for many other species. A solitary act of survival has unintentionally nourished an entire community. Not far away, another survival strategy reaches for the sky. Beneath the thorny canopies of acacia trees, a giraffe stands in silence. Tanzania's national animal stretches towards the tender young leaves high above. Their extraordinary shape is a masterpiece of natural design. Their iconic long necks are not the result of having more vertebrae than other mammals. It is, in fact, an extraordinary elongation of each individual vertebra. This unique evolution grants them access to a remote food source. A height that no other browser can reach. A long, dexterous tongue navigates the sharp, protective thorns. In the dry season, when ground-level vegetation is completely depleted, the acacias become a vital lifeline. However, this tranquil scene is incredibly fragile. This gentle giant faces an uncertain future. Its habitat is steadily shrinking under the pressures of a changing world. On the fiery, shadeless plains, survival demands a much faster rhythm. Impalas move in cautious herds. They are the dancers of the plains. Every step carries an incredible grace and speed. When the dry season strips away the green grasses, they are forced to adapt. They switch to browsing on leaves and shrubs. This remarkable dietary flexibility helps them endure the drought. But foraging in the open carries immense risk. Their existence is a vital link in the food web. They are the energy that sustains the balance of this vast ecosystem. To avoid becoming a meal, impalas must constantly scan their surroundings. Their ears twitch incessantly, catching the faintest sounds on the wind. When a threat emerges, they unleash an explosive hidden power. They are the epitome of resilience. An impala can reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour when fleeing a predator. That blistering pace is the only line between them and death. In Tanzania, the lions have developed a unique behavior to cope with the searing daytime heat. They climb trees. From a distance, the massive, dark forms lounging on the branches look like a midday mirage. It is a perfect position. Several feet off the ground, they escape the intense heat radiating from the cracked earth and avoid the harassment of blood-sucking flies. But they don't just seek out these canopies for rest. The commanding view from above provides an absolute strategic advantage. From this height, their amber eyes calmly scan the clouds of dust swirling on the horizon. A herd of zebras is approaching a dry riverbed. The arrival of hundreds of individuals, a dizzying mass of black and white stripes, seems to charge the air with tension. Seizing the opportunity, the lionesses move with silent grace. They successfully approach a zebra that has strayed from the herd. Using disciplined pack tactics, they spread out in the withered grass, silently tightening an invisible cordon. Now they are ready. A single pounce from the lead lioness is enough to bring the zebra down. This is the unsparing law of these plains. The weak become the feast that sustains the strong. Further south, the landscape begins to change. In Tarangire National Park, the river that shares its name is slowly running dry. It is the region's last lifeblood. As all surrounding waterholes evaporate under the heat, thousands of creatures have no choice but to converge here. A great gathering begins. But crowds always come at a price. The scarce water increases competition, turning this place into a stage for uncompromising confrontations. In the riverbed, the muddy pools are shrinking by the day. This is the last refuge for the river giants, the hippopotamuses. They have no option but to remain submerged in silence for hours on end. Their sensitive skin requires absolute protection from the sun's damaging rays. Imprisoned in the mud, they seem to be waiting. Only when night falls, bringing with it a cooler air, do these cumbersome creatures leave the water. They lumber ashore to graze, silently connecting the terrestrial and aquatic worlds in a closed loop. Even in the worst of times, the hippo's existence nurtures the ecosystem. Their waste enriches the scarce water, providing essential nutrients that sustain the aquatic plant life. On the banks, enormous dark shapes trudge closer. Savannah elephants, the wisest inhabitants of this arid land, have completed a long journey. The herd's survival depends not on physical strength, but on memory. Their extraordinary memory holds a map of migratory routes and water sources passed down through generations. Always in the lead is the matriarch, bearing the responsibility for the life and death of her entire family. Under her guidance, the herd has patiently navigated dozens of miles of dust each day in search of food and water. But the Tarangire River before them is now just a stark white ribbon of sand. There is not a single drop of water on the surface. However, the old matriarch knows what other creatures cannot see. Water still exists, hidden deep beneath the scalding sand. With powerful thrusts, the elephants begin to use their tusks and trunks to dig into the riverbed. Layer after layer of sand is cleared until muddy underground water seeps to the surface. These self-made wells are a just reward for their wisdom. It not only saves the elephant family from extreme thirst, when the herd moves on, these deep water holes become miniature oases. They don't just exist, they are diligently nurturing the natural cycle and maintaining biodiversity in a land fading from drought. But this precious water attracts more than just thirsty herbivores. The high concentration of life turns the dry riverbed into a deadly rendezvous. And the apex predators of this land know it all too well. Amid the extreme heat of the day, as life and death struggles simmer around the shallow water holes, life persists tenaciously in other hidden corners. Tarangire National Park is not just a fierce battleground for large carnivores. It is also known as a haven for over 550 species of birds. On the flat, open plains where heat waves distort every image on the horizon, a colossal figure appears. It is the ostrich, the largest bird in the world. On the open savannah, with not a single tree for cover, its superior height becomes a gift of creation. Their enormous eyes possess exceptionally keen vision. Under the glaring sun, they act as natural watchtowers. From a great distance, the ostrich can easily scan its surroundings and spot any potential enemies lurking in the dry grass. However, when danger gets too close, the bird's true defense mechanism is triggered. The ostrich does not have the power of flight to escape into the sky. Instead, millions of years of evolution have concentrated all its power into its lower body. The ostrich's long, powerful legs are perfect muscular engines. When unleashed, these strides allow it to reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour across the flat savannah. This astonishing, wind-slicing velocity allows it to easily outrun most terrestrial predators with a proud gait. Not far away, another giant bird is also toiling for survival, but at a completely opposite tempo. If the ostrich holds the absolute record for size, then the Kori bustard proudly holds the title of the heaviest flying bird on the planet. A mature individual can reach a colossal weight of up to 40 pounds. With such a massive body, lifting off into the air is an extremely expensive energy calculation. Consequently, they are very economical with their strength and rarely take to the wing. Instead of flying, they spend most of their time walking on the ground with a calm and deliberate demeanor. Each slow step glides through the dry grass. Its sharp beak pecks constantly at the cracked earth, searching for insects and small reptiles. Their patient existence creates a quiet, low note in the hurried symphony of survival in the African bush. Suddenly, that stillness is torn apart by a deep, resonant sound. It is not the roar of a predator, but the flock call of the southern ground hornbill. This sound has a particularly low frequency. Their deep, booming calls can travel nearly 2 miles through the thick, midday air. It rolls on the wind, spreading through the space to create a unique symphony of the savannah. This bird, with its jet-black plumage and vibrant red facial skin, is now a vulnerable species. Like the Kori bustard, it chooses to traverse the savannah on its long legs rather than on the wing. Its steady strides across the arid ground are a testament to its resilience against the myriad harsh challenges of nature. But Tarangire is not only made of scorched grasslands. Hidden in the low-lying terrain, where the ground has been fortunate enough to retain some precious moisture, a completely different world emerges. And then, the seemingly endless, agonizing wait finally comes to an end. Dark clouds, heavy with water vapor, roll in from the horizon, obscuring the long reigning, harsh sun. The still air misses a beat. The first rains finally fall upon Africa's cracked surface. The rainy season in Tanzania arrives like a great natural conductor, raising its baton high. The roar of thunder awakens the symphony of life after long months of near total silence. The suffocating dust is gradually washed away. Precious drops of water soak deep into the thirsty earth, slowly spreading a lush green carpet across the vast grasslands. A miracle of rebirth is unfolding across the barren land. This magical transformation is not just happening on the plains. At Lake Manyara, nestled in the Great Rift Valley, the alkaline waters also awaken from a deep slumber. Rain brings new life to the quiet shallows. From a distance, a giant, chalky pink mirage begins to shimmer in the air. Millions of flamingos from across East Africa converge here, answering an ancient, instinctual call. This massive concentration transforms the pale lake into a vibrant and overwhelming sea of pink. A clamorous sound fills every inch of space. Their specially curved beaks are not a biological defect, but a highly sophisticated filtering tool. They constantly dredge the shallow mud to collect algae and tiny crustaceans. It is this abundant, carotene-rich food source that creates the beautiful, signature pink of their plumage. Millions of beaks filtering water at once create an endless, rushing sound. The presence of the flock is more than just a spectacular sight to behold. By constantly consuming food, they help regulate the algae populations that bloom after the rain. It is a perfect cycle that helps maintain the fragile balance of the lake's ecosystem. On the newly sprouted grasslands, another performance is quietly beginning. The grey-crowned crane, the absolute symbol of elegance, is performing its intricate courtship dance. Every one of their movements exudes a flawless, natural grace. Each high leap and wing spread, each delicate bow and resounding call that soars into the sky, all are an integral part of a mesmerizing mating ritual under the rain-soaked heavens. They dance tirelessly, marking the beginning of a new generation. But the downpour doesn't just bring the dances of procreation. The rain awakens the instinct to move, carrying with it the vibrant energy of the greatest journey on Earth. On the Serengeti plains, the fresh, newly sprouted vegetation quickly becomes the main stage for a momentous event. This event does not begin with a loud noise, but with a silent shift on the distant horizon. Millions of hooves trample the hard ground, creating a hazy cloud of dust that hangs low in the daytime air. It is the beginning of the Great Migration. Over 1 million wildebeest begin to gather under the brilliant sun. With them are hundreds of thousands of zebras and gazelles. Together, they form a colossal army, preparing to embark on an arduous 500-mile journey. This is no ordinary migration. This is the largest overland movement of wildlife on the planet. A river of life flowing endlessly across the African land. The rain has turned the Serengeti into a paradise of lush young grass. But the road to paradise has never been smooth or easy. The great journey is always accompanied by dangers lurking in every corner of the savannah. Along the lengthy migration route, patient predators follow the herds every step. They hide quietly in the tall grass, carefully scanning the enormous formation for the most likely targets. Lions, hyenas, and leopards await the opportunity to attack the young or the exhausted individuals who have fallen behind the herd. The sacrifice of these weaker individuals is a brutal reality. But it is nature's way of nourishing the environment and maintaining the stable balance of an entire, vast ecosystem. And then, the peaceful rustle of millions of hooves on the green grass gradually gives way to a fierce, roaring sound. The Mara River appears before the herd. The river, which was calm and gentle during the dry season, has now become a furious torrent. Heavy rains in the headwaters have swelled its banks, causing the water to churn violently, carrying branches and debris. For the wildebeest herd, crossing this river is the ultimate test. And it is also the most dangerous milestone in their entire transcontinental journey. On the steep riverbank, tens of thousands of animals bottleneck together. They hesitate at the edge of the murky, violently flowing water. An atmosphere of tension and fear envelops the entire jostling herd. Beneath that churning surface, silent, dark shapes lie in patient ambush. Nile crocodiles, the absolute rulers of the water, have waited an entire year for this moment. With colossal body lengths of over 18 feet, they are not ordinary predators. They are the most perfect killing machines, survivors who have retained their great form from the age of the dinosaurs. These cold-blooded creatures do not need to expend energy chasing prey as predators on land do. They simply lie motionless, perfectly camouflaged like dead logs drifting lazily on the river. There is no room for pity or hesitation in this moment of life and death. Each year, thousands of wildebeest perish in this river crossing. Their bodies drift along the banks, becoming part of a brutal cycle of life and death. It is the final price paid to maintain the grandeur of nature. As the survivors of the Mara River continue to graze under the brilliant sun, another corner of Tanzania possesses an ancient stillness. Far to the south, under a vast and cloudless daytime sky, Ruaha National Park stretches out. This is a wild land, stained the reddish brown of stone and soil under the blazing African sun. Here, life moves to a slower, more resilient and mysterious rhythm. Beneath the vast Tanzanian sky, the magnificent natural tapestry we have just witnessed is facing the most devastating challenges in its history. Global climate change is no longer a distant warning. Average temperatures continue to rise, disrupting the natural seasonal cycles. It makes the dry seasons longer and more severe, draining the rivers and heating the daytime earth to lethal levels. At the same time, The expansion of agricultural areas is gradually eroding this pristine beauty. Vast wild lands are being converted, severing the age-old migratory routes of animals. The conflict between humans and wildlife is escalating and becoming more acute. Yet, amidst this darkening picture, glimmers of hope are being brightly lit. The fight to protect this wild kingdom is now being aided by modern minds. High in the daytime sky, drones patrol silently. They are the sleepless eyes, constantly scanning the savannah to monitor and protect the animals from poachers. GIS mapping technology is revolutionizing how we understand and protect wildlife habitats. Innovative and humane approaches are also being widely implemented. Simple yet effective beehive fences are being erected around human settlements. They cleverly use the elephant's natural fear of bees to prevent conflict, creating an unprecedentedly harmonious coexistence. Grassland restoration projects and mangrove replanting are diligently bringing new life to once devastated ecosystems. And most importantly, the seeds of awareness are being sown through educational programs for the younger generation. The journey to conserve Tanzania's great natural heritage is not the task of any single nation. It requires the cooperation, solidarity, and decisive action of the entire global community. With its inherent resilience and a strong commitment to conservation, Tanzania still stands as a global symbol of hope. Every proud mountain, every lake that empties and refills, every creature struggling under the daytime sun is telling a great story. It is a story of survival, of the power of nature, and of the invisible thread that connects all species. They are an earnest invitation, reminding humanity of its sacred responsibility to protect this one and only planet. So that in the future, under the brilliant African sun, these stories of the wild kingdom will continue to be told for generations to come. In this world of giants, the African elephant stands supreme. Weighing up to 13,200 pounds, they are living walls that cannot be moved. Scientists call the elephant a keystone species. Without them, the entire Serengeti ecosystem would crumble. They are the great architects of the plains. Every day, an elephant consumes up to 660 pounds of vegetation. By toppling large trees, they prevent the encroachment of the forest, keeping the savannah open for the grass to flourish. When the rivers run dry, elephants become hydraulic engineers. They use their trunks and tusks to dig deep into riverbeds to find groundwater, saving thousands of other species. The elephant's trunk is a biological masterpiece with over 40,000 muscle bundles. It is strong enough to lift a tree trunk, yet delicate enough to pluck a single berry from the ground. Elephants live in a strict matriarchal society, led by the oldest female. Her memory is the survival map for the entire family through decades of drought. They communicate using infrasound below 20 Hz, which travels for dozens of miles. Elephants can even sense vibrations through their feet to recognize allies from afar. The elephant is a creature of profound emotion. When passing the remains of a relative, they will pause and use their trunks to touch the skull in remembrance. The grief of the elephant proves that a soul does not belong to man alone. Amidst the wild, the elephant remains a symbol of wisdom, power, and familial love. Beneath the murky swamps lies the home of the hippopotamus. Though they appear slow and placid, they are the most dangerous large animals in Africa. A startling fact: hippos cannot swim. Their bones are far too heavy. Instead, they walk or hop lightly along the riverbed, like astronauts on the moon. A hippo's skin is extremely sensitive to the sun. To protect themselves, they secrete a red fluid known as blood sweat, a natural sunscreen. The hipposudoric acid in this secretion blocks ultraviolet rays and has high antibacterial properties. It helps the hippo avoid infection while living in stagnant water. The hippo's most terrifying weapon is a pair of canines that can reach 20 inches in length. With a mouth opening 150 degrees, it can snap a large crocodile in half. Hippos are fiercely territorial. Any creature bold enough to trespass in their waters faces a terrifying rage. Under the cover of night, they leave the water to graze. A single individual may consume 88 pounds of grass in a night, carving smooth hippo highways. Their ecological contribution lies in their waste. Though they eat on land, they defecate in the water. This provides a massive influx of nutrients that sustains the entire aquatic ecosystem. Hippos are the formidable arbiters of the rivers. Their presence maintains a watery order that even crocodiles must respect. Across the sun-scorched plains of Africa, life evolves in a delicate equilibrium. And at the heart of this arduous struggle for survival, there is a powerful figure, the lioness, an emblem of tenacity, strategy, and teamwork. Unlike the males, who often play a role of protection and procreation, it is the females who are the core of the pride's hunting prowess. Each lioness possesses a body built for power and agility. Weighing around 265 pounds, they can reach speeds of up to 37 miles per hour. And coordinate their hunts through subtle, non-verbal cues. Typically, lionesses stay together for life, often as sisters, mothers, and grandmothers. This blood bond fortifies the trust and coordination essential for the hunt. The average lifespan of a lion in the wild is just 10 to 14 years, not long compared to other predators. Environmental pressures, territorial conflicts, injuries from the hunt, and competition from outsider males make survival a precarious venture. Yet, in this brief time, a lioness matures quickly, reaching her prime at around 6 years old, when her strength and experience are at their peak. What makes lionesses such supreme hunters is their ability to bring down prey many times their own size. Today, The pride is targeting a herd of Cape buffalo, a formidable and dangerous prey, but one that offers a rich reward. A Cape buffalo weighs around 1,760 pounds, is armed with sharp, curved horns and a fearsome temperament, and is considered one of the most formidable adversaries on the plains. Yet, this is precisely what makes them the ultimate prize if the hunt succeeds. Hidden in the tall grass, downwind from the herd, 6 lionesses split into 2 groups. One group moves forward to distract the buffalo, while the other encircles them, aiming to isolate a weaker animal. The herd scatters in a storm of dust. The silent warriors of the savannah have claimed another victory, not through individual might, but through strategy, unity, and courage. In Africa, the lioness is a symbol of resilience and the art of survival. Through their collective hunts, they can fell prey many times their own weight and nourish an entire pride. Amid the harsh Kalahari Desert, where the heat and ever-present predators threaten every moment, a small society endures through its vigilance and cooperation, the meerkat. Weighing less than 2 pounds and measuring just 12 inches long, meerkats live in close-knit groups of up to several dozen individuals. Each member has a function, from digging for food to standing sentinel against danger. One stands erect, scanning the sky, while others search for scorpions, insects, and small lizards beneath the hot sand. They communicate with a diverse repertoire of calls, issuing different alarm signals for eagles, snakes, and jackals. When danger appears, the entire group freezes and vanishes underground. Meerkats are not only skilled defenders, they are also adept hunters. A young meerkat is hunting a scorpion. This is a technique learned from an early age. This wisdom is passed from one generation to the next, allowing them to survive in an unforgiving land. Across the sun-drenched plains of eastern and southern Africa, a silent figure glides through the short grass. It is not a lion, nor a hyena. It is the cheetah, armed with a weapon no other predator can match. Absolute speed. With its slender build, lightweight body, and an extraordinarily flexible spine, the cheetah can flex and launch itself like a spring, each movement propelling it forward. It has long forelimbs, powerful hind legs, and non-retractable claws that, like an athlete's spikes, increase its grip as it runs. Large nostrils, expansive lungs, a powerful heart, and a long tail that acts as a rudder help it maintain balance at top speed. Thanks to these adaptations, a cheetah can accelerate to over 62 miles per hour in just a few seconds. A marvel in the animal kingdom. However, these sprints quickly lead to exhaustion, leaving them vulnerable to having their kill stolen. While female cheetahs live a solitary existence, the males, particularly brothers from the same litter, form small coalitions of 2 to 4 individuals. It is a fundamental evolutionary strategy, improving territorial defense, increasing hunting efficiency, and providing mutual protection. In the wild, a solitary cheetah is successful in about 30% of its hunts. But with a coalition of males, that rate can double. Each one is not just a powerful individual, but a vital link in a machine of lethal precision. Speed is instinct. Strategy is intelligence. The cheetah has combined both to become one of the most fearsome hunters on the African savannah. While the male lion reigns as a symbol of static authority, it is on the scorched grasses of the Serengeti that the females reveal themselves as the true sovereigns, shouldering the very lifeblood of the pride. Beneath a midday sky that unleashes its searing fury, their perfect camouflage allows their toned bodies to dissolve into the color of the arid grass. Cold, amber eyes pierce the shimmering heat haze, locking onto their target, a herd of wildebeest grazing unawares in the distance. The silent huntresses tighten their encirclement in the suffocating stillness. A wind-tearing burst of speed closes the gap between predator and prey. A fatal clamp to the windpipe seals the wildebeest's fate, affirming their ultimate authority. Though they are masters of this domain, life under the African sun is never easy. Every meal is paid for in sweat, blood, and exhaustion. but it is their supreme tactical intelligence that allows them to overcome the extreme harshness of this natural crucible. The lion rules not only with fang and claw or a thunderous roar, but with the undying strength of kinship and resilience. Following the silent footsteps of the lion, the towering silhouettes of African elephants appear along the Luangwa floodplains. They move like living fortresses, slow yet imposing, carrying wisdom and collective instincts honed over 1,000 generations. A mature bull can weigh over 13,000 pounds and stand 13 feet tall, looming like a two-story house over the savannah. Their vast ears, laced with a dense network of blood vessels, act as natural radiators to release heat under the valley sun. At Luangwa's heart, when the dry season pushes temperatures to a staggering 104 degrees, this cooling is the key to life. The trunk, an evolutionary masterpiece of 40,000 muscles, serves as a magnificent tool for feeding, drinking, and social grace. The tusks, which are elongated incisors that grow through the years, are both weapons and essential tools of discovery. They dig for water in parched riverbeds and clear paths through the densest thickets. Elephants are the true architects of the ecosystem, forging trails through the mopaine forests for smaller species to follow. Their intelligence is the stuff of legend. Without maps or technology, The herd remembers the exact locations of underground springs dried up for many years. In their matriarchal society, the eldest female serves as the leader, a matriarch holding a treasury of experience from the harshest droughts. The empathy of the elephant extends far beyond mere instinct. When a member of the herd falls, the others gather, touching the still body with their trunks, a profound response to death. On this same savannah, the fate of these giants is more precarious than ever before. Poaching and habitat loss have driven the African elephant population into a severe and tragic decline. By 2024, only 415,000 remain on the continent, the last souls, writing an epic of survival on their wild motherland. Here, the hesitant are swallowed by their own indecision. There is only one choice: advance or vanish. When the moment comes, instinct speaks before reason. Not everyone gets the chance to retreat. Only one question echoes. Who will stand until the end? Welcome to the grand stage of nature. When the name Wild Africa is mentioned, our minds always conjure the image of a reigning king. That is the lion. A thick, dark mane, a crown woven from shadow and authority. It is not just for show, it is a silent warning to any who would be foolish enough to challenge. Every crisscrossing scar is a chapter of history, a map of blood charting the price of this throne. When he roars, the very air seems to tear. A concussive wave of sound travels for miles, like thunder rolling from the earth's core. It is not merely a sound, it is a declaration of sovereignty that makes every creature from antelope to leopard shudder. But kingship in the wild is never an easy seat. Those amber eyes are always burning, never truly daring to close. Because out there, in the darkness, Coalitions of young males are circling, coveting his kingdom and his harem. He patrols the borders of his territory with heavy, calculated steps. He is the steel shield, the only barrier between the order of the pride and the chaos beyond. In this brutal land, mercy does not exist. Strength is the only law. Time is the most relentless enemy. But this king's will is harder than mountain stone. And as the sunset silhouettes him against the fiery sky, he stands, alone but magnificent, the eternal lord of the wild land. But in another world, at the far end of the earth, a different, fierce story is unfolding. The creatures here must live in bone-chilling cold all year round. Yet, they patiently endure to survive in this harsh land. In this vast, frozen kingdom, nature has imposed harsh laws that only the best adapted creatures can comprehend. The temperature drops with a brutality that can fell any unprepared being in minutes. This is the Canadian winter, a majestic stage where survival is not a right, but an achievement conquered through generations, thanks to thousands of years of perfect adaptation and a relentless resilience. A haunting sound blankets the icy air of the Canadian forests, echoing for kilometers across the snow-covered plains and frozen mountains. It is the howl of the grey wolf. Soon another wolf answers, then more, until the night is enveloped in a deep symphony, marking the boundaries of the pack's territory. These super predators have not only learned to endure the winter, but have also turned it into an ally. Thanks to their incredible social organization and hunting strategies perfected by nature over millennia. As social predators, wolves must coordinate every move, maintain group cohesion, and ensure that all members, from the strongest to the youngest, are in good physical condition. The social structure becomes even more crucial as temperatures plummet. The alpha pair not only leads the hunt, but also makes decisions about territory, resting areas, and resource distribution. Their two-layered, extremely insulating winter coat allows them to sleep directly on the snow, even at -40 degrees Fahrenheit. As winter progresses, hunting strategies also change. Cooperation among pack members becomes decisive on the deep snow. Wolves take turns breaking trail, with the lead individuals expending the most energy, while those behind take advantage of the compacted path. When they attack large prey like moose or deer, they use the snow as a weapon. They drive their prey into areas of deep snow, slowing them down. Maintaining a territory during the winter requires constant vigilance. A pack can defend an area of 77 to 386 square miles. In times of extreme scarcity, carrion plays a vital role. Wolves do not hesitate to consume animals that have died from the cold, starvation, or attacks by other predators. Unlike many animals, wolves remain active even on the harshest nights, despite blizzards and lethal temperatures. Their communication system becomes essential during these months. Howling maintains contact between dispersed members, coordinates movements, and reinforces social bonds. Reproduction is also synchronized with the winter cycle. Mating usually occurs in late winter, in February or March. Thus, the alpha female's gestation is timed so that the pups will be born in late spring, just as prey is giving birth and food becomes abundant again. These extraordinary adaptations, the result of thousands of years of evolution, have allowed wolves, bears, lynx, and other inhabitants of the taiga to thrive in the Canadian winter. But this ancient balance is now under threat. Climate change is altering the timing and severity of winter, affecting hibernation cycles and reducing the availability of prey. The majestic figure of a grizzly bear moves slowly among the golden autumn trees of the forest, as if each step marks the beginning of an ancient ritual. Its thick, coarse fur already hints at the undercoat that will protect it from the harsh winter cold. Every movement is deliberate. Every search for food is vital, because this super predator is preparing for one of the most extraordinary survival strategies nature has created: hibernation. This process, honed over millions of years, entails a physiological transformation so profound it is almost impossible. During the period of hyperphagia, the bear becomes a true energy-consuming machine. In late summer and during the autumn, it is capable of eating up to 20,000 calories a day. It can gain 2 to 4.5 pounds per day, and some individuals nearly double their weight before retreating to their dens. The choice of a den is a crucial moment. The bear seeks a place that offers insulation, protection from blizzards, and absolute tranquility. Unlike small mammals that fall into a deep torpor, the grizzly enters a state of controlled lethargy. Its vital functions decrease significantly, but it retains the ability to awaken if it senses danger. Its heart rate drops from 40 or 50 beats per minute to just 8. Respiration becomes slow, with long pauses sometimes between breaths. Its body temperature drops only a few degrees, from 100.4 to about 93.2 degrees Fahrenheit, thus maintaining the activity of vital organs while minimizing energy demand. Even more astonishing is that during this hibernation, pregnant females will give birth. The cubs, tiny and blind at birth, feed on the mother's energy-rich milk, while she remains in a deep sleep, living entirely off her fat reserves. The entry and exit from hibernation are regulated by food availability, climatic conditions, and the bear's physical state. However, not all bears can hibernate in ideal conditions. Those that have not accumulated enough fat may be forced to leave their shelters in the middle of winter, a decision that is almost always fatal. Climate change is increasingly altering these ancient rhythms. Warmer or irregular winters force some bears to awaken early. Added to this is the direct disturbance of dens by human activity. Logging, roads, mining, and even scientific research. The human footprint on these extraordinary survivors of winter creates a stark contrast with the marvelous adaptations nature has bestowed upon them. Even in the most remote regions of the north, where the cold dominates every corner of the landscape, our influence creeps in silently. Industrial development fragments the vast territories that wolves need to hunt in packs. Roads, pipelines, logging, and mining operations become barriers. Beavers, though maintaining relatively stable populations in many regions, are severely affected by changes in water levels due to dams, river diversions, and altered rainfall patterns. The hibernation areas of grizzly bears are also constantly disturbed. Logging, mining, and even some wildlife research projects can force bears to abandon their dens. Climate change exacerbates all these problems, unpredictably altering the conditions inside the dens and changing the timing when bears need to accumulate fat. Winter after winter, the cycles are broken. Shorter seasons, early snowmelt, irregular snowfall. In this ever-changing scenario, even the masters of winter faced challenges that no biological adaptation had foreseen. Despite this, hope persists. Protected areas preserve essential habitats and maintain the ecological corridors that animals need to move freely. Research programs provide crucial insights to better understand the real needs of each species and design more effective conservation strategies. Indigenous communities, with their deep knowledge of northern ecosystems and their traditional practices of coexistence with wildlife, offer valuable perspectives. Each of these animals has demonstrated an extraordinary ability to survive the harshest trials of nature. But now they face another, more subtle and persistent challenge: the human impact on their ancient winter kingdom. The question now is not whether they can endure the cold, as millennia of evolution have proven they can, but whether they can withstand the transformations we are causing in their frozen and silent world. In the dry season, life seems to slow, but beneath the surface is a relentless struggle. Herds of wildebeest and zebra migrate across the plains in search of water and fresh grass, creating colossal marches for survival. Meanwhile, apex predators like lions must travel up to 12 miles a day in search of increasingly scarce prey. Predators such as hyenas and cheetahs not only hunt but also regulate herbivore populations, preventing overgrazing and maintaining the grasslands. Scavengers like vultures perform essential cleanup duties, disposing of carcasses to prevent the spread of disease. These two nomads were once inseparable, comrades in life and death. Together, they weathered countless storms to reach this promised land. But the law of nature is inherently indifferent. Before them lies an unclaimed kingdom. And the throne calls to only one. The unquenchable thirst for power has consumed their bond of blood. Neither is willing to yield. Or tread upon the blood of a sworn brother to ascend with pride as the new king. Whether on the barren savannah or in the civilized world, the law of kingship always carries the same cost. It is easy to weather the storms of survival together, but to yield a place at the pinnacle is an impossible demand. This is merely the opening chapter of an endless war on this vast savannah. A 6-foot neck extends, gently stripping young leaves from a thorny acacia branch. It is the northern giraffe, an emblem of elegance on the Serengeti plains. This advantage in height is not just a physical trait, but the result of an incredible evolutionary journey spanning over 7 million years. In the harsh savanna environment, the ability to access a food source no other can reach has allowed them to endure the test of time. Their iconic long neck is not the result of an increased number of vertebrae. The latest data indicates that the global population of northern giraffes has fallen to around 35,000 individuals. During the dry season, when water is scarce and ground-level forage dwindles, the acacia tree becomes a lifeline. With incredible stamina, a northern giraffe can consume over 75 pounds of leaves per day. They are an embodiment of patience, adaptability, and resilience, qualities that both the savannah and humanity should emulate. The Serengeti ground is as hard as rock, but that does not deter the warthog. With its powerful snout and long tusks, it digs with diligence. In the dry season, when surface water has vanished, this act is not just to find moisture-rich tubers for itself, but also inadvertently creates small water holes, a lifeline for many other creatures. Though often seen as uncouth, warthogs exhibit highly organized behavior. They live in small family groups known as sounders. They can flee at speeds of up to 30 miles per hour, their tails held erect like signal flags of alarm. However, when escape is not an option, their 4 sturdy legs and sharp tusks are formidable weapons. In the life cycle of the savannah, warthogs act as diligent farmers. With every excavation, they aerate the compacted soil. Seeds from their meals are scattered across the plains, promoting the regeneration of plant life. Amid the arid grasslands of the Serengeti, where the cracked earth resembles ancient skin scorched by an unforgiving sun, the impala stands poised, elegant and serene. These artists of survival dance across the plains with unmatched speed and graceful agility, embodying a perfect balance of power and beauty. A slight rustle in the grass is enough to startle an entire herd of impala. In a flash, they become a flowing river of tawny brown. When danger is near, they can accelerate to 50 miles per hour, interspersed with artistic leaps. This is not just a way to clear obstacles, but a sophisticated tactic to confuse a lurking predator. The dry season is their greatest test. When the grass withers and water becomes scarcer than gold, impala switch to a diet of leaves and shrubs. Their herding behavior is another testament to their survival strategy. Large groups, often up to 100 individuals, offer safety in numbers and an early warning against danger. However, the life of an impala is not just about hiding. They are vital links in the Serengeti ecosystem. Amid the golden, withered plains of the Serengeti, where the dry season's heat drapes the earth like a fiery cloak, the cheetah moves with a gentle grace. It seeks no fanfare. Every step, from its fluid movements to its sharp gaze, exudes the refined precision of a master predator. With their keen eyesight, they can spot prey from a distance of 1.2 miles. They conserve energy, stalking rather than chasing in the relentless heat. Their preferred targets include agile animals such as gazelles, impala, and young wildebeest. Amid the oppressive heat of the Serengeti dry season, ancient granite outcrops, known as kopjes, rise from the vast grasslands like fortresses of time. This is the realm of the leopard. Weighing between 88 to 150 pounds on average, a leopard can haul prey heavier than its own body weight high into a tree. However, the leopard's silent existence is not without threats. The IUCN has recently warned that they are classified as vulnerable. Amid the harsh Serengeti dry season, where hot winds carry dust across the sun-scorched grasslands, the male lion assumes the role of the dominant king. These rulers have no physical throne, but their reign is maintained not just through physical strength, but through strategy and unity. With over 1.5 million years of evolution, the lion has become one of the most organized predators on the planet. Unlike other big cats that are solitary hunters, lions live in prides, a complex social structure that increases their chances of survival. They regulate herbivore populations, preventing overgrazing that could degrade the vegetation. In the Serengeti dry season, herds of African buffalo emerge like mobile fortresses, moving powerfully across the arid grasslands. However, in this world, survival depends not just on physical strength, but on survival strategies honed over millions of years of evolution. The greatest strength of the African buffalo lies not in the individual, but in the unity of the herd. A single herd can range from a few dozen to several hundred individuals, and this cohesion is their most formidable weapon. During the dry season, herds often gather around scarce water sources, places where life and death are decided in fleeting moments. Despite being herbivores, African buffalo play an indispensable role in the Serengeti ecosystem. Their dung enriches the soil, promoting plant growth after the rains. From the Serengeti, we journey further southeast and stop in the land of Tarangire. The scorching heat of the dry season in Tarangire is causing the waterholes to gradually shrink. This place is not just a refuge for survival, but also a source of life for countless other species. Here, the hippopotamus's role extends beyond mere endurance. They do not just exist, they rejuvenate life, maintaining the pulse of aquatic ecosystems. Their thick yet sensitive skin requires constant immersion to prevent dehydration and overheating. In Tarangire, the dry season pushes these adaptations to their limit. In the shrinking waterholes, hippos do more than just survive. They maintain complex social structures. As temperatures soar, they huddle together in the water, using their massive bodies to stir up mud and create natural shade for themselves and other creatures. The dry season in Tarangire becomes a great gathering point as thousands of animals from distant lands flock here. Over millennia, elephants have evolved to become one of the largest land animals, weighing from 13,000 to 20,000 pounds. Their large ears act as natural cooling systems, while their extraordinary memory allows them to recall migration routes. In Tarangire, where even the last drops of water become priceless, the intelligence and cohesion of elephant herds are more than just survival tactics. Under the guidance of the matriarch, the oldest and most experienced female, the herd travels dozens of miles each day, crossing arid lands to find water and food. When the Tarangire River narrows to a sandy bed, savannah elephants use their long tusks to dig deep into the earth, creating small water holes. With a dexterous trunk capable of lifting up to 770 pounds, the elephant carefully draws water. An adult elephant consumes about 300 pounds of vegetation daily, including grass, leaves, and bark. While feeding, they move and leave behind dung. Elephants clear pathways and disperse seeds throughout the areas they traverse. Savannah elephants are not just great consumers. They are tireless gardeners of the ecosystem, maintaining biodiversity. Though they are giants who rule the land, savannah elephants are not immune to their greatest threat: humans. Habitat loss and poaching have pushed them onto the IUCN's vulnerable list. Each individual that falls is not just a loss, but a rupture in the ecological web they have so diligently woven. Under the scorching sun of the Tarangaya dry season, where every drop of water is as precious as gold, herds of savannah elephants cross the cracked earth, embodying the strength and resilience of nature. Tarangaya is not only home to large mammals, but also a sanctuary for over 550 bird species, including the world's largest bird, the ostrich. Standing up to 9 feet tall and weighing around 300 pounds, the Maasai ostrich strides across the savannah like a perfect survival machine. Their long, powerful legs have become their primary survival tool, allowing them to reach speeds of up to 43 miles per hour. In Tarangire, the dry season is the ultimate test for every living creature. However, the Maasai ostrich displays extraordinary survival skills under these conditions. They can digest tough and thorny vegetation, exploiting food sources inaccessible to many other animals. Remarkably, ostriches can endure long periods without drinking water directly, obtaining moisture from their food or producing it through metabolic processes. With eyes 2 inches in diameter, the largest of any bird, the Maasai ostrich possesses exceptional vision. If the ostrich is the largest bird in the world, then the Kori bustard holds the title of the heaviest flying bird. weighing up to 40 pounds, with a wingspan reaching 9 feet. The evolutionary history of the Kori bustard spans millions of years, originating from ancient birds that chose a life on the ground over soaring through the skies. Their long, strong legs are built for covering great distances. Although they are capable of flight, they use it only as a last resort, as their large wings require significant energy to lift their heavy bodies. In the challenging environment of Tarangire, where food and water are scarce, the Kori bustard demonstrates incredible adaptability. Despite their large size, Kori bustards are not entirely safe from larger predators. However, they employ several effective defense strategies. When they feel threatened, they often stand perfectly still. The Kori bustard's role in the Tarangire ecosystem extends beyond mere survival. By preying on large insects and small reptiles, they help control populations that could alter the ecological balance during the dry season. In the dim light of a Tarangire dawn, the booming call of the southern ground hornbill echoes across the dry grasslands. Instead of soaring through the skies, these birds claim the ground as their territory. With legs up to 20 inches long, they stride across the savannah where life and death are constant companions. According to the IUCN, they are now classified as vulnerable. A clear warning of the uncertain future for this iconic species. After enduring the relentless drought and the rigors of the dry season, the wild inhabitants finally welcome the first rains. The precious drops of rain gradually spread a carpet of green across the vast plains of the Serengeti, the woodlands of Tarangire, and the wetlands of Ruaha. This transformation is not just a change in the landscape, it is a trumpet call that awakens and energizes the entire ecosystem. As the first seasonal rains sweep across northern Tanzania, Lake Manyara awakens like a repolished natural gem. In the pale light of dawn over Lake Manyara, dewdrops glisten on the fresh green grass, forming a mirror that reflects the misty sky. Striding gracefully through this serene landscape is the grey-crowned crane, a symbol of elegance and resilience in East African nature. As the rainy season brings life to the marshes surrounding Lake Manyara, the entire ecosystem is revitalized. It is then that the grey-crowned crane shines brightest, performing its elegant courtship dances on the vibrant green meadows. Their calls, audible from over 1.8 miles away, act as invitations and signals across the vast savannah. In the rich wetlands and grasslands around Lake Manyara, the grey-crowned crane finds an abundance of food. This adaptive feeding behavior allows them to thrive in the dynamic conditions of the rainy season. Amid the vibrant energy of the Great Migration, where herds of wildebeest, zebras, and Thompson's gazelles flow like a living river, the African wild dog emerges as a silent warrior of nature. Without the massive build of a lion or the relentless stamina of a hyena, they are a symbol of perfect cooperation and masterful hunting strategies. As one of Africa's oldest predators, the African wild dog has evolved over millions of years to become a highly skilled hunter. Their unique genetic makeup distinguishes them from other members of the dog family, with only 4 toes on each foot. Their colorful coats with striking patterns of black, yellow, and white not only make them stand out but also help pack members recognize one another. While the rainy season brings new life to the Serengeti plains, it also presents significant challenges. The presence of lions and hyenas forces wild dog packs to be constantly on the move, seeking areas with less competition. Despite this, the vast plains remain the main stage for their remarkable hunting strategies. These overwhelmingly powerful hunters not only steal their prey, but may also harm any wild dog they catch. African wild dogs act as natural regulators. They help control populations of smaller herbivores. Additionally, their hunting behavior forces prey herds to move constantly, dispersing grazing pressure over a wider area. However, the story of the African wild dog is not without its challenges. According to the IUCN, they are now listed as endangered. With its massive body, thick, armor-like skin, and majestic horns up to 3 feet long, the black rhino embodies perseverance. This species has undergone millions of years of adaptation to Africa's harsh environments. According to the latest data from 2023, the global black rhino population is around 5,000 individuals, with the eastern black rhino making up only a small fraction. Once common across eastern and southern Africa, this subspecies now exists only in small, protected populations. With a naturally prehensile upper lip, the eastern black rhino skillfully grasps shoots and young leaves. The trails they create through dense vegetation not only provide pathways for other animals, even in death, their carcasses provide essential nutrients for scavengers. Under the vast Tanzanian sky, the endless plains of the Serengeti meet the lush slopes of the Ngorongoro crater, creating an impressive natural masterpiece. However, this majestic landscape faces the most serious challenges in its history. Climate change, illegal poaching, and the encroachment of agricultural development are gradually eroding the pristine beauty of this land. Climate change, with its increasingly evident signs, is reshaping the natural rhythms that define this landscape. The rains no longer arrive on schedule, the dry seasons last longer, and small rivers are gradually drying up. In the Serengeti, where millions of wildebeest and zebra undertake the Great Migration, the scarcity of water and arid grasslands have reduced survival rates. The prolonged dry season challenges herbivores and places apex predators like lions and cheetahs in desperate situations. At the same time, illegal poaching remains an open wound on Tanzania's natural landscape. African elephants and black rhinos, symbols of majesty and resilience, continue to be the primary targets of poachers. These losses not only reduce population numbers, but also leave deep voids in the ecosystem. The threats to Tanzania's wildlife extend beyond poaching. Agricultural expansion, driven by a population exceeding 65 million people. According to a 2024 report by Global Forest Watch, over 1.1 million acres were being lost annually. In Tarangire National Park, natural grasslands are being fragmented by crop farms and irrigation channels. Such conflicts highlight the urgent need for sustainable land use planning. Tanzania, with its unparalleled richness, is a symphony of life. In the face of these challenges, conservation efforts are fighting to restore balance. Meanwhile, innovative approaches like beehive fencing systems are working in harmony with nature. In Zanzibar, restored mangrove forests not only protect the coastline but also provide shelter for species like the hermit crab. Above all, educational programs are planting the seeds of awareness in the hearts of younger generations. With resilience and a commitment to conservation, Tanzania continues to be a global symbol of hope and dedication. Every individual can contribute by supporting conservation organizations, reducing the use of wildlife products, and spreading awareness through education. Under the scorching sun, the ostrich strides confidently among the remaining waterholes. Though flightless, this extraordinary bird is perfectly adapted to the semi-desert landscape. Equipped with long legs and a formidable speed, the ostrich stands up to 9.2 feet tall. When threatened, a powerful kick from its muscular legs can deliver a serious blow. However, their greatest defense lies in their speed. Capable of sprinting up to 43 miles an hour, ostriches are the true long-distance runners of the savannah. In the dry season, they travel in groups of 5 to over 50, moving together between water sources in search of food and drink. As omnivores, their diet is varied. When water is scarce, they switch to a diet of moisture-rich plants, able to go for long periods without drinking. At Ocauquejo, the ostriches gather with other herbivores. It is the epicenter of a silent struggle for survival, with predators never far away. In this high-risk environment, ostriches are equipped with the largest eyes of any land animal, measuring up to 2 inches in diameter. allowing them to detect subtle movements at great distances. During the breeding season, their behavior becomes more animated. The male performs his characteristic courtship display, shaking his head, extending his neck, and kicking up clouds of dust. A single nest can contain up to 60 eggs, each weighing about 3 pounds. In the harsh conditions of Etosha, these eggs become an attractive target for many predators. Both the male and female take turns protecting the nest, enduring ground temperatures that can exceed 122 degrees Fahrenheit.